Hello, my
Hi.
name is Sirdeaner Walker. Well, my son is a wonderful boy. He loved life. He was full of life. He did a lot of activities, basketball, soccer, football. But when he went to a new school for middle school, I noticed that, it seemed like he was having a problem. When you ask your child, well, how was your day or whatever, he seemed reluctant or something was wrong. So eventually he told me that there were some kids bothering him at school. And, I immediately contacted the school and they're like, well, he hasn't really said anything to us. So I said, well, I brought, Carl to the school, or we were at the school together, and I said, you need to tell them what's going on. And he did tell them what was going on.
So who did he contact? Was it like the principal's office or
One of the administrators initially at the school. And specifically, Carl was being called gay, or you act like you're gay, or are you gay? That was the way he was being targeted.
I feel like that's a very typical cop-out for kids that are either jealous of someone else or insecure about their own orientation, that they sort of like this. Don't worry about it.
I think, it's really hard because I think kids that are at that stage in their life, they're developing, they're growing, they're maybe going through puberty, haven't quite reached puberty. They don't really know a lot about sexuality, but some kids are more advanced than others because they have internet access and, they're just, online and parents don't really know what their kids are doing online.
Right.
So I think that, it was the type of thing where, this is something that you see this kid, he's very happy-go-lucky type child, he's always smiling, he's very smart, you can tell that, the teachers kind of favor him because he always turns in his work and everything else like that. So why is he so happy,
Yeah.
And and I would always tell Carl, I said, sometimes, kids bully other kids because they're just not happy with their home life. And I said, we have a very happy home life, we're happy. So they see that. Yeah.
And I also saw when you were on Ellen that you were involved in the PTO and very involved in the school. So how did that experience work for you, going to the school and becoming involved with these administrators and sort of seeing how they deal with the situation?
Well, see, that was one of the reasons why I became involved in the school, because I knew my son was having a problem. So I'm a really proactive person. So I said, because I've got 3 other children, so I could have joined all the PTOs, but I said, well, I'll focus my attention on this PTO with this particular school because I want to have my hand on the pulse of what's going on in the school. So that if there's a problem, they know that this is Carl's mom, she's on the PTO. As a matter of fact, I was captain of the 6th grade team because it's a 6th through 12th grade school. So each grade has a captain that reports to the bigger, overall PTO. And so that's what I was. I was the 6th grade team leader.
So you brought this to the attention of the administrators, and what was their reaction to you?
That Carl was being...
Or just that there is this bullying situation that exists?
Well, at the time, I didn't know that there was an overall bullying situation that exists. I knew that my son was being bullied, and I did bring it to their attention. They had said that they would handle it, but Carl was always afraid of naming children because he said they would label him a rat, a snitch, or a tattletale.
Yeah.
And I now know that probably what happened was once, the administrators, punished or disciplined those kids, the kids would probably come after Carl again. But I didn't know that at the time, because that's probably why he was saying that.
And again, like what you were saying about them being sort of jealous of his happiness, and then they also see your involvement, and that might, sort of make them even more jealous of
Right.
Carl. And Did you ever find out who these kids were that were causing this?
No. Initially, the boys or whoever was calling him gay, he did name the names, but that happened early in September or October, so I don't remember the names. But of the last day of his life, the incident involving the girl, I don't know who she is. They haven't identified her to me. And the school, as a matter of fact, never called me to tell me that there was a fight or a situation at school that day.
What was the incident with the girl?
Apparently, and this is from what Carl has told me, and it was verified through the principal the next day up until a point. Apparently, Carl has an LL Bean backpack, and Carl is very organized, and his favorite store is Staples. So he would have a binder for each subject. So science would have its own binder, math, English. So he'd have these 1-inch binders. Well, it wouldn't fit in a regular backpack, so I got him the LL Bean Deluxe Rolling Backpack. So, right, it was a really nice backpack.
Better on his back, too.
Right.
Yeah.
And so his backpack, because the school is, it's a temporary school. It's kind of like in a trailer, so it's not really a permanent building, you know what, facility. So it has narrow hallways, and, you know, classes are very small. His backpack hit a TV stand, and the TV stand hit this girl. And the girl threatened to beat Carl up and to kill him and jumped in his face. And so Carl, I guess, became upset by that, and then, you know, an administrator, I believe, became involved in it. And so the mediation was, because this was the week of Good Friday, so, you know, they had that Friday off. So the mediation was, you two have to sit down together and eat lunch for the rest of the week, and with an adult, and try to work this out. So when I told the principal, like, why, I mean, that seems to be very odd to me to have mediation like that when you have somebody threatening a kid. And she said that's what they do there. So that was her explanation the next day. She told me that. And then Carl was willing to do the mediation, but the girl wasn't willing to do the mediation. She didn't want to sit down and have lunch with him. So Carl told me that he was facing a 5-day suspension. And this is where it differs from the director. The director said that he never faced a 5-day suspension. And I told the director, I said, I have 4 children. I know which ones of my 4 kids don't necessarily tell me the truth. And I said, Carl always told me the truth. And someone at that school told him he was facing a 5-day suspension. Now, whether he was actually facing that or not, I don't know. But somebody told him that because he had it made up in his mind that he was facing a 5-day suspension.
And especially for a child that seems compassionate and, you know, very organized and so interested in school, that would be such a burden to
That would be devastating.
Yeah, absolutely. So for not knowing these kids that did cause this bullying, what would you say to them if you did know? Like, would you have anything to say, or to their parents even, or?
You know, I would, you know, because I'm a Christian and Carl is a Christian, you know, I have to forgive them. I can't be angry at them or mad or upset. But what I would request for them to do is to stop doing what they're doing. If they're still doing this, I would ask them to stop doing it, because they don't know the long, you know, range consequences that their words or their actions can have on students. And, you know, once, you know, these words are said, you know, it's embedded in somebody's, you know, psyche or in their mind, and then they can really harm themselves even if they do have a happy home life, because they still have to go to school Monday through Friday. So I would plead with them to stop, you know, doing what they're doing.